Hey everyone, welcome back to Licensed Poetics, a podcast where writers talk about books and writing and whatever else we do. Today we're talking about our personal lives.
Yeah, you forgot to say our names.
Oh, that's right. My name is Derek.
And I'm your co-host. And I'm your host, Fung-Ling. Oh, come on. You
host.
should have said... it's okay. All good. All good.
We'll work this out.
That was actually a brilliant intro. And I think it matches perfectly the vibe that we're aiming for today.
Casual and ill-prepared.
Well, we still have a few things we want to say, but yes, we are less structured than normal. Just to give behind the scenes, for some episodes of LP, we have this massive page of document that we prepare in advance, especially our collaborations with guests. Because, we want to give the impression that LP is really professional and knows what we're doing. But for other episodes like this one, we're just a bit more casual and chatty. And you might have noticed that we changed our intro. We removed the word aspiring because we have received complaints.
Well, we can just be aspirational by saying that we are. I mean, that would make more sense than admitting that you're aspirational and then...
Don't you think aspiring writer
Aspiring writer is the stage before you actually start aspiring. Because once you start aspiring, you would just call yourself a writer. The only reason you could call yourself aspiring as a disclaimer is to I think that's what you say before you start being an aspiring writer. And then you start writing. Because if you were an aspiring writer, you would just write.
That is very true. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to this struggle of not having enough confidence to call yourself a writer. And do you think maybe if you say aspiring novelist, it will make a bit more sense? Because it implies,
so, yeah. Because we have written. Everyone has written. It's part of your primary school curriculum. There's almost no one who hasn't written.
Yeah, if you've written an email, you're a writer.
Yeah. So...
But this is interesting though, how do you define, how do you get the courage to call yourself a writer and who gets to call themselves writers, right? But I feel really if you do it or if you're serious about trying to do it, it should be enough. But that's not the specific story of why we decided to remove aspiring from the intro. Okay, let me explain. Basically, we've been saying this intro, welcome to LP, a podcast where aspiring writers talk about books, for a while, and we have received no complaints. Until recently, we posted a reel on Instagram I'm very proud of that one. We're finally using the trending formats, which is the propaganda I'm 100% falling for, or I am 100% not falling for.
Mm-hmm.
And I captioned that as propaganda we're 100% falling for as aspiring writers. So basically that phrase became visible to people in text form, I guess. And we received complaints from our good friend Marlene. And she was like, why do you call yourselves aspiring writers? It sounds like you're illiterate.
We should screenshot that conversation and just post it.
Maybe we should. Yeah.
I think, because I don't know about you, but one of the things I think is really fun is I love it when I'm messaging friends or something where I say something and then one of my friends will screenshot it and then just post it. I mean, maybe that's how you know you're a writer, right? You someone posts something you wrote and you're like,
yeah.
I'm so funny.
You're right. I think I've been on the receiving end, maybe not as many times as you, because I don't spend so much time crafting my messages.
It's not crafted. That's just talent. No, I
that's just talent. Ooh! That's awesome.
But yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Just to finish the story, the reel that we posted, propaganda we're 100% falling for, as writers. See? If I were to do it again, that's what I would say. 3 points. Number 1, thinking about writing counts as writing. That one hurts a lot right now. Number 2, editors have bad taste for rejecting my piece. And 3 is a quote from Derek Your first book is either a ripoff of something you love or anger at your father. Yeah. The first 2 points for me, look, I haven't written in a long time and I feel super bad about it. Actually, when I say a long time, yeah, basically I was saying I want to pitch something this week or next week. So basically, you know how I have that failed first draft of my novel, 12,000 words? I feel like I can take a section of it and turn it into like a short memoir piece. Like maybe...
Sticking with memoir. Yeah, nice.
Maybe 2,000 word. A short piece though. Mm-hmm. And then I'll try pitching that and see what I get.
Sounds good. I mean, you're just like ripping up the parts of it that you like and then
exactly, yeah.
It.
Yeah.
I think that my understanding is that that's like 90% of writing. Like, I don't know how common that is for like novels, but it's definitely like a big thing in like screen and stuff as well. You just like rip out a part of the thing that you thought was going to work that actually works, and then you just
that's definitely common across all writing, for screen, for the page, whatever.
I was going to ask if you've already started it. Like, have you tried already to write that, or are you going to just pitch it before you
good question.
Do the work of trying it?
I think if I literally just chunk it out of my first draft, I don't quite meet the word count, so I'm gonna have to, I guess, redraft it. But writing the actual pitch is a higher priority right now. Because for any listeners who don't know, pitching and writing are two completely different things, but they take two different sets of skills, but they're both very important.
Because I can't remember what I saw an interview with a writer. I don't know who it was now. They were talking about how like people pitch really differently. Like some people, they pitch with the thing they're already the draft, and some people pitch without the draft. And it really like so that's kind of why I asked.
Yeah, and a lot of publications will have requirements as well. I think for Kill Your Darling, attaching the actual writing is completely optional, and the assumption is that it will not be read. That it will only be read in addition to a very strong pitch. Gotcha. So that's why I was like, the pitch is the
cool.
higher priority. I've written my fair share of pitches in my day. None of them have been accepted.
Wow. I've definitely never written a pitch.
Really?
I've never gotten that far. I mean, like, you know what my writing is like. It's usually really short, and it's like very specifically like short form, and so I've never...
True. And I feel like it's so much harder to pitch fiction. I've never pitched fiction.
Oh, really?
Before. Yeah. Everything that I've pitched have been essays.
Any reason?
No, it's more just that's what Kill Your Darling asks for. I don't think they asked for pitches for fiction. I think they just asked for the whole thing. And another exciting update for me. Wait, I should say that with more enthusiasm. And another exciting update from me, you know, a part of my life that has been going well, is I've been going back to FBI radio and really connected with the audio maker community there and scored LP some new listeners.
That's right. It's you're like running a campaign.
What do you mean? Like a promotional campaign?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you found your people in your community, when you tell them about LP and they listen to it immediately, you know, on the train home, right? And I promise I didn't like force them. I mean, I didn't try to shove it in their face that hard. I just brought it up just a few times, you know, reasonable amount of times.
I too have been doing the same thing. Well, not really. And if I'm ever talking to somebody, I'll just be like, anyway, Licensed Poetics.
That's
I do a
good.
podcast thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But you can only get like one person at a time that way. And
that's totally
my
fine.
guess is if the date doesn't go well, then they never listen to it again. So.
Oh, you talk about it in the romantic context.
Yeah.
Look, I will say, if in a romantic context, if a guy was like, I have a podcast without anything else, that's a red flag immediately.
100%. So I'm putting my life on the line out here.
No, as soon as you explain, I have a podcast, but it's about books. And, books like Murakami and...
Murakami? No.
Okay, you know what? Maybe Murakami is not the best example.
Yeah, Patti Smith, the vegetarian.
Yes.
Yeah.
As soon as you say that, it's not a red flag anymore.
Yeah, I actually did message somebody. I think I did tell them that, and then they ghosted me. So I was like, it's definitely not me. It's definitely the podcast.
Yeah, it's definitely them. Maybe they were looking for a podcast bro. Anyway, so how's life going otherwise?
I'm in a great deal of pain right now. I don't know if people can see, but like my shoulders are kind of like lopsided. But it's basically just because I don't know what happened. I hurt my neck, my back, something like that. Anyway, I'm in a fair amount of pain. But doing the podcast is making me feel better, so that's good.
Yay! He showed up to the recording despite his pain and injury.
Soldier. I'm a true soldier.
I know.
Did I tell you that I once worked with this old dude who was like 70-something? He cracked both his ribs in the morning on the way to work, still came into work.
When you say cracked, you mean broke?
It's the same thing, isn't it?
Wait, crack? I thought you just like make your bones make the cracking noise.
No. He fractured them.
Oh my God. Ouch.
Still worked. So
yeah.
This generation is soft. Me.
Truly the worst generation. Anyways, I think speaking of dedication to the podcast, I am really, really glad that we have this like fortnightly catch-up session. for a multitude of reasons. A, friendship, of course, and B, it makes me utilize my weekend with much higher efficiency.
Really? Why is that?
Yeah, because for Derek now, it's 6 p.m. on Friday night. For me, it's 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning. And trust me, without LP, I will not get up anywhere before 10 a.m. on a Saturday.
Kind of beautiful out. It looks like from your background.
Yeah.
I can see like the sun like shining through.
It's a sunny day, beautiful day, pretty cold, but still lovely day. And because I'm forced to wake up early, I get to have the whole rest of the day to do things. Yeah, and I just get to spend the weekend with more intentionality, I guess.
Wow, that's so wellness of you. Are you going to work for Goop soon?
Wait, wellness. Do they use the word intentionality in wellness?
Know. Like they use a lot of ITY words.
What's that?
The ITY at the end, the suffix. Intentionality, originality.
Okay. No. Are they smart enough to...
Yeah, they are. That's the point.
It's like
fake smart. Have you seen... Oh, no, never mind.
Exactly, fake smart. But I'm saying the point that I just delivered, which is waking up at 8 a.m. and then spend the day with intentionality. That's not fake smart. That is an actual point. We
should put a poll up on Instagram and see what the people think. I feel like intentionality could be like construed. I'm not saying you are using it that way, but it definitely would be used that way.
Yeah. You know what? On another point, having these conversations also make me realize that like actual meaningful conversations are hard to come by in the real world.
Do you think so?
Yes, don't you think so?
I think that's true if you're not constantly looking for subtext. But I think if you like...
I don't look for subtext. You look for subtext.
But yeah, I agree. You don't often get conversations that are very intentionally about things. That's
exactly.
Rare.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's always by coincidence or like something happens, you watch it happen, and then you ask somebody about that thing. Like then that's how you get into a proper conversation. But by and large, yeah, like very few people sit down and be like, let's talk about something. You know what I mean?
The point is to exchange information and insight.
But then you don't want to get too wanky and do that all the time, because I've seen that, and that's also insufferable.
Okay, well, let's say every 2 weeks is a good frequency.
Every 2 weeks is perfect.
Also, if you're constantly looking for subtext, you can find meaning in anything. But then that's you doing all the work. Another way to look at it is like you're like starved for meaning. You're famished for meaning, and you just like look for it.
That's great.
That is a poetry reference.
Is it?
Yes. It's from a poem by Leon Lee called "The City in Which I Love You." Let me see if I can recall the full line for you, because that is one of my favorite poems ever. Yeah, and it's a music-related line. if I feel the night move to crescendos, if I feel the night move to crescendos, it's only because I'm famished for meaning. The night merely dissolves.
That's really beautiful.
Right?
Can you send me? What was the poem called?
The City in Which I Love You. I love that poem. I have most of it memorized, I swear to God.
Wow.
Or at least I did last year. It is a collection of poems, but it's also a single, very long poem called The City in Which I Love You.
It's a lot of music. Maybe this will improve my tolerance for poetry, which is a good segue, right? That's what we're kind of talking about.
Yes.
Or are you backing out of that now?
No, I still want to talk about it, but I just feel like I need to talk about two other things in order to set it up.
Okay. So maybe let's do those first.
Yes. The first is my reading update, but I feel like we're really stretching the definition of reading update for this one.
It's fine. I mean, we've done watching updates, so it doesn't really make a difference.
We totally have. But I feel like I have to be honest with Licensed Poetics listeners that I have been struggling with a reading slump.
Oh, you know what? It's almost as if novels are not the most efficient way to deliver information. Oh, who would have thought? Who would have come on here and said that maybe... Anyway.
No, I will not concede to that preposterous claim. And I have been in kind of a watching slump too, really. Like, everyone around me has been telling me to watch Adolescence on Netflix. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I know it's a good show and I can already tell that I'm going to like it, but I can't bring myself to click play, you know?
I've kind of got I've got a different thing. Like I'm not convinced it's good. I mean, I've heard people talk about it.
Oh, really?
I think it'd get really old really fast.
Oh, you mean the single shot thing?
I don't expect it to be full of nuance. I don't know, to be honest, for sure, because I've not watched it. But like, I'm not excited to watch it.
I see. Yeah. See, excitement. That's interesting because I feel like a reading slump or watching slump or fiction slump, maybe we should call it, is just for some reason, the loss of excitement. And then because I don't feel that excitement, I can't bring myself to open a book or to click play on a new show. But I do find it much easier to pick up something familiar, something I have consumed before. Yeah, it's interesting.
I feel like, I mean, it's kind of the way like your body knows it's not well. It's like the same way as like when your brain knows it's not ready to process new information, you just kind of go back to the old things that like relax you or ground you or whatever. And then, you know, when you're ready to like take in more information, suddenly you're like craving like new stuff. That's always how I've like viewed it. Because I go through those slumps a lot, like watching, reading, whatever else. Sometimes I'm just like too exhausted. That's my thing. For me, I'm just like, if I have to pick this up, then I gotta watch like 13 episodes and that's a lot of work and blah, blah.
That is true. And I feel like during these slump periods, the worst thing you can do is to put yourself on a schedule and force yourself to do something. That's why I really appreciate how we've made LP so flexible, you know, because it's really important not to burn us out.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's the only way to like maintain interest in something, probably.
Yeah, definitely. It's just interesting that it's like so mysterious, you know? I don't really know what's causing it. I don't think I'm unwell. Yeah, I don't think I am. If anything, I've been like trying to take care of my health and my routine. Maybe it's just I've put more energy into work in these recent weeks. Anyway, before I talk about work, I want to tell you about this epic thing that I did, which is I hosted a Pride and Prejudice watch party.
That's great. That sounds super fun.
I know. It was so fun. And even though the process wasn't entirely smooth, like, because with planning things and like sending invites and like coordinating people's schedules. So maybe that's something that has like sucked up a lot of my energy. Maybe.
Living your life, you mean?
I know. Who would have thought? And basically, we are watching the 1995 BBC TV show starring Colin Firth and Jennifer Ely. And it has 6 episodes, and we're gonna watch it in maybe 3 or 4 watch parties. And even though to the first watch party, only 1 person showed up, the second one was much more successful. 6 people showed up, and we all kind of just sat in my living room on the couches and on the rug, and we watched, the first few episodes of that 1995 TV show.
That's awesome.
And in the invite, I encouraged people to dress up in period gear, but I kind of said it in like whatever throwaway way. I was like, dress in period gear if you like. And guess what? One girl actually did. She wore stockings and a green skirt and like a lace shirt on top.
Nice.
And she looked amazing. Fun. Yeah, I know. And she, I asked everyone to bring some food and drink if you can. And she brought like tea cakes.
That's fun.
Which is like this like a cinnamon-y cake that was really delicious. And yeah, everyone just gathered and I served everyone tea. For some people, it is their 100th time watching it. For some people, it's their first time watching it.
That's really fun.
I know.
So are you gonna step up the next one? Are you gonna like wear some period stuff? I think you have to. You're the host. Come on.
That is a very valid point.
I think you.
I only have that one skirt that kind of gives trad wife vibes.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
Maybe I'll think about it.
So does your partner come home and just see like a bunch of like Victorian ladies like sitting eating tea
pretty
cakes?
much.
Yeah.
Although I will say no one else dressed up. So, and also the invite, I sent the invite to I messaged people individually, and I also sent it to group chats. And then in one group chat, I was like, the women here are invited, and any brave men are also welcome to come.
Did they end up going?
No. It was an all-women event because no brave men was cited. If
I had been there, you would have seen.
You would have come?
100%. Are you serious?
Oh,
come on.
Hell yeah.
I would have dressed up too.
That's awesome.
Speaking period appropriate
English.
English.
So everyone who came to my watch party, people had some interesting reactions to certain things in the show. Have you seen the show?
I actually don't think I have.
But you've seen the 2005 movie?
Which one is that? Is that the Emma Thompson one?
That is Sense and Sensibility.
Oh, what am I thinking of?
Pride and Prejudice is Keira Knightley.
Oh, Keira Knightley. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you've seen that one.
I think we watched it in class, but I honestly don't. I wouldn't be able to tell you even like what it was about.
No worries. But that movie is also like a cult favorite, and I love it very much. I think the show and the movie have different goals, and they're very successful in their own ways. But in the show, especially in the beginning, the few episodes that we have watched is where Mrs. Bennet, the main character's mom, is very over the top. She's like, I just want my daughters to get married to rich men. And then she would say these things in front of the main character and her love interest. And everyone in the room was just getting secondhand embarrassment from watching this essentially crazy old lady character. And it gave me great joy when I watched them go like, ah!
Oh, they start like squealing? They're like,
yeah. It was so good. And then after we finished each episode, we had like a little discussion and everyone helped themselves to snacks. It was great.
That's so fun. It's kind of like a book club.
It is a TV club, really.
That's fun.
Yeah. You can join remotely next time if you want.
That's a cool thing. You're bringing together your social life, which is living your life, and also what you like to do, which is watching, reading, whatever. That's cool.
That is true. That is
true. Look at you living your best life. Who would have thought? Maybe you don't need to write anymore. Maybe you don't need to write anymore.
That's my biggest fear, Derek. What the But then I'm like, it is the cost of like just having a social life. Does it cost your intellectual interior? It shouldn't. But I feel like it's doing that.
I think sometimes we mistake intellectual interior for loneliness.
No, the other way around.
The other way around. Sometimes we yeah. Sometimes we mistake loneliness for intellectual interiority. Honestly, I think mostly that's what it is.
I can't believe I just said intellectual interior. What a crazy thing to say. But you know what I mean.
Everyone has interiority. Like, you don't need to be a loner who only reads books to like have interiority.
Is that what I was? Is that what I used to be? Surely not.
I'm not making any judgments. I've got no idea. But I can speak for myself. I can speak for myself though, and I think like there have definitely been times. I mean, like, yeah, my friends will, I'm sure, say the same thing. Where like I've made some sort of observation about life and loneliness and happiness or something, and then it's just like, bro, you just need to talk, just hang out with your friends. What are you talking about? And then it's kind of true, because sometimes you do it and you're like, oh, I went to the beach with my friends today, and it didn't make me want to write. It just made me like, oh,
happy.
Yeah, this is fun.
It just made you happy. True. I think for me, I'm the same. There have been periods of my life where I was that, loner type, but in other periods, I was surrounded by people, but I didn't take them seriously enough, and that was my fault. I feel like the smart thing to do would have been to take them seriously and prioritize them, which I guess is the hard lesson that I had to learn this year, and I'm like applying that to my life right now.
Yeah. Sometimes loneliness is just loneliness, right? It's not some sort of like intellectual isolation. Sometimes it's just like message your friends, be like, hey, how are you going? Is your mum okay? Yeah.
Well, like, let's hang out in
exactly.
whatever way.
As embarrassing as that is to like reach out to someone.
Oh God. Yeah, well, so that's something that has been going well. What has not been going well is my company recently did a pretty big round of layoffs. Yeah, I wasn't affected, thankfully, by some miracle, to be honest. I still have a job, even though some people that were like around my level, which is junior or slightly more junior than me, were laid off, were let go.
That's rough. Did you lose any friends?
Yes, I lost so many. They basically got rid of everyone I liked in the company. And it was for context, my company is in the tech industry, and I guess like it's been going on for a while. And it's finally my turn, I guess. But I think the lesson that we all learned from it was just like, don't take your job too seriously.
Don't take your job too seriously. They might fire you anyway. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. Like, I'm sure it's different in like government, which is where you're working in. But like in tech, they like to like essentially lie to you and say, oh, we care about you so much. Like, people are our top priority. That's our key value. And they do look after you, with a nice office and like the free drinks and free food and flexible work from home
until they
arrangements
can't afford
and stuff.
to do it anymore, right?
Exactly. Until they just kick you off.
That's the only difference. I think that's the main difference between, because they lie to you in government too, but well, I shouldn't say that actually, because that's a problem. But I mean, I think every workplace is kind of similar. The difference is that everyone knows that they're lying. I think people don't often buy in when they work for government, because they know the real difference is like, because every company is like, the moment they can't afford you, okay, well then they'll cut you. The difference is that like, if you work for government, it's a lot harder to do that.
True. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell in my current workplace how many people buy into that, or even did I buy into it. I thought I was kind of immune. I was like, oh, I know who I am, and I don't derive my self-worth from working at this place. But it was a shock to me when they just got rid of people. Like, they gave them zero warning beforehand, told them at 9 a.m. on a day, and they were gone by like lunchtime.
Like, that seems kind of crazy, because I didn't know you could do that in terms of like, I mean, don't they? Isn't
Is
there
that
like,
legal?
I was like, yeah, like are contracts in place, like, or do the contracts all say like you can be terminated anytime without any warning? Like, kind of crazy.
That is the way you do it. And I think they get like packages and then they are technically
Oh, yeah,
still
because they've been
employed.
made redundant and like,
Yeah.
so you get paid out.
Yeah, you get paid out. And the key thing is you lose access to information the moment you get told. Did they give them like at least a grace period of a few hours for them to say goodbye and stuff? Maybe. I hope they did. But yeah, losing access instantly, that was pretty gutting. And then when you look them up on Slack, look up your friends' names on Slack, and they're just deactivated out of nowhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm kind of lucky and like naive in that way because I haven't had that experience, but that is kind of crazy.
That is crazy. And it really is like Severance. It really is like Severance, the TV show, where you would lose your best friend at work without a moment's notice.
Yeah.
And, as much as it's, the company trying to protect their own data and like it's still cutting off a real human relationship without any notice. It's like a death in the friend group even. Obviously, it's not as dramatic as that, but like it's...
The trauma is a little smaller.
Comparable.
You can still meet them, yeah.
It's comparable? How do you say it?
Comparable, I think. I mean, it
comparable.
Doesn't really matter.
Right,
but,
okay.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Oh, yeah. That sucks.
It's really bad. Speaking of, everyone who came to my watch party also each got a plushie to hold. So I was like, because I didn't have enough.
I thought you sent them home with one. I was like, wow.
No,
you handing out party favors? That's pretty cool. How's that sustainable for 6 episodes? I mean, you might be able to do
Exactly. And also, I'm not partying with my plush babies. Like, no way. Basically, I don't have enough couch space. So I was like, some people are going to have to sit in, hard chairs. And I was like, how do I make the chairs a bit more comfortable? I'll just put a little plushie on them. And then this one girl walked in and immediately went for the chair that had my red panda plushie on it. And then she was like, red pandas are my favorite animals. I'm really happy right now.
I love that you're just using this now as a chance to like brag about your social life. It's really nice, actually.
I'm not bragging.
I think you should brag loudly. I think that's good.
Is it really bragging when I've worked so hard for it?
Yeah, it still is.
Like,
doesn't matter how hard you work, it's still bragging. What are you talking about?
I've worked so hard. I've worked so hard.
I think you're entitled to it, but it's still bragging, I think, by definition.
I don't know why, but every time I think about this, I just think about the popular girls in high school.
Why? Everyone has friends, not just popular people.
No, but I mean like this constant group. I just felt like, maybe I'm just being delusional, but I felt like they never had to work to have a village.
I think people sometimes do not give enough credit to like people who are popular or whatever. Like a lot of those people do work hard at their relationships. I don't think to some extent, maybe, I don't know if it's different in China, like maybe there are already hierarchies in place and stuff. But I think people, like, to be honest, I don't think it's good or bad, but I definitely do think that people put in the work. Unless they're like really good looking, but even then, like, you know what I mean? I think you still kind of have to work for it. I've definitely been that person before who was like, oh, like these people don't have to work hard, blah, blah. But it's like not true. It's just not true. Like,
you mean work hard in their relationships?
Yeah. Like they obviously do.
True. Have you ever been popular?
Me? Come on, man.
What do you mean?
Talking like this, being like, no. Come on. Get real. No. You can't like every now and then throw away a very like existential nihilistic line into conversation and people just be like,
and then be popular.
That's not going to make you popular. No one is going to be like, wow, that guy's so cool.
I think for so many years I was along the line. Wait, no, I should say, I think for a very brief period in middle school I was like the popular, exciting group because I was kind of dating this guy and he was in that group, and then like our corner of the classroom is always the most like exciting one. But then that quickly disappeared. What was I? I lost my point.
Talking about how cool and popular you were in middle school.
No. What was I saying? Okay, wait. I was just saying, I think for many years, I believed, or I tried to convince myself that like I'd rather have no friends than have meaningless friends. I have friends, people surrounding me who don't get me, as terrible as that sounds. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, that's just being a teenager, right?
Oh, but I held on to that belief like well into my 20s.
Look, I can say kind of the same thing. And it's just like nonsense. Like, people will care about you if you let them in and if you care about them.
Oh.
It's like way easier than like that's kind of why I like that's why I like sitcoms so much. They really espouse things that like you feel like kind of trite or whatever, but then like if you think about it for any longer, or you've been through any experience in life, you're like, that's true. Like we are just all here together, and like there's nothing else other than the people around. Like, and it's like true. And so that's why I love those shows so much.
Oh my god, wait. Are you telling me that you love sitcoms because it's just a group of friends?
Yeah. Isn't that not, that's like, what else is it?
Oh, Derek.
And like,
Okay.
I especially love the long running ones, because the long running ones, or like the ones that kind of fail, like you watch the group fail a little bit. Like new people come in, old people leave, they have other things to do. That's what life feels like.
Oh my god. Yeah, I think. Look, at the same time, I don't think there's anything wrong in being selective about your friends.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think we should bash that. But when you combine those two things, you realize what an incredible privilege it is to have a group of friends who align with you, and how like difficult it is to come by.
Yeah, I mean, I even appreciate like the people who don't, right? Like people who come along and they're a guest star for an episode of your life, and then they're gone. But that's still kind of nice. Or like relationships that work and then they don't work, or like, you know, whatever.
Yeah, but I think I'm talking about like this group idea.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Being part of a group.
Yeah. I'm a pretty codependent person, so the show just those things just kind of make sense. But I used to resent it. I used to resent how like I felt like if I was too in, then I would feel bad when I was out, and so I tried not to be too in.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. So.
That's like a defensive way to live your life. Hey.
I mean, that's kind of like, I've done that for a long time. I'm still trying to figure out how to live less defensively. I think that's like a big thing at the moment, but who knows if I'll figure it out.
I hate it when engineering terms apply to real life.
You really like to compartmentalize. You like this stuff over here, you like that stuff over there.
Yeah. Look, I think people that use
engineer.
I think people that use work lingo in their everyday life is like cringe.
Yeah.
Where unfortunately this time it really works, because there's a concept called defensive programming.
Oh yeah, tell us about it.
Where instead of expecting data to be there, you're expecting that it's not there. So basically you plan for the worst.
You've described how I've lived my life.
You've defensively programmed your entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do when you imagine it's not there? You create an error around it, so that when you know this thing breaks, other things can still have a chance of working. So instead of one piece of information missing, your entire website goes down. Which is currently how our product works, by the way.
It's good thing you're not naming your like company, because this could be a real problem. They might be looking for you next otherwise.
It's actually hilarious.
Why is it leaked?
It's actually hilarious. No. Actually, it's so common, I doubt it's even a secret anymore. I bet Facebook also works the same way. If you are missing a piece of key information, I bet the entire site just goes down. Oh, it's really dysfunctional. But then the argument is that like usually you don't want to defensively program too much, Derek. You do not want to
because the product because otherwise it's not good. Like you can't because if your main goal is to make things not bad and your main goal isn't to make things good, then you're not going to have good things. You're more likely to have not bad things. But not bad sucks. Not bad is really boring.
What a beautiful way to summarize it. I wish I could invite you to our meetings. That was beautiful. I can tell you because when engineers argue the exact same point, they're like, when it's defensive, you're like, we're never really sure what's gonna come and what's not gonna be there, and like we lead to bloated code and whatever. And we've had so many arguments about this, but yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah, we should aim for good things, not bad things.
That's my years of sitcom watching. Distill it down to an easily quotable moral.
Oh, that is very nice. But then how come sitcoms didn't teach you how to like not live defensively?
Because I just watch sitcoms as a defensive mechanism. To avoid being hurt in the real world. He learned
writing techniques from sitcoms as opposed to actual lessons from sitcoms.
Yeah. So that's it for today's episode. Thank you for listening. If you want to support Licensed Poetics,
please head to buymeacoffee.com/licensedpoetics.
Otherwise, that's us signing off. I'm your host, Derek.
And I'm your host, Fung-Ling.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
See ya.